Hello, my name is Ben Fry. This is for William Wood's EDU 503. It is a case study of a legal case entitled Kelly versus the Board of Trustees. Um, as an athletic director, you have to deal with a lot of different aspects of your high school activities and your collegiate activities and athletic programs. Um, One of the major concerns that goes along with your different programs is that sometimes the viability of a program is in question, and sometimes the uh, conversation of canceling a program or um, outsourcing a program or just not offering that program um, comes into question. Um, when that kind of conversation's had, one of the biggest concerns from a high school standpoint, and I know from personal experience, is the concern that that sport will never um, be brought back because of the ability to do so. The fact is that student athletes will find different interests um, when one of their interests are removed from their lives. Um, this issue is a current talking point at my school district as we have very low numbers in high school girls basketball and also in junior high football. Junior high football is kind of an exceptional case because we've got a couple of very small classes, um, but out of all the girls we have in our high school, we only had 7 girls interested in playing basketball last season. So the viability of that program is in question, and we don't want to lose it, but at the same time, it has a lot of um, different factors that we have to look at as to the viability of the program. Budgets, the revenue it's bringing in, the interest, all that kind of stuff. There's a big list of factors that play into that. In this case, Kelly versus the Board of Trustees, the University of Illinois actually in 1993 announced that it was going to terminate 4 varsity athletic programs. One of those was men's swimming. The plaintiff, William Kelly, and the other members of the men's swimming team filed a suit against the Board of Trustees. Um, the Board of Trustees of the University of Illinois, its chancellor, the athletic director, and associate athletic directors, alleging that the defendants violated Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Um, Title IX basically says of that educational amendments basically says that no person shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity other than those specifically described in the act receiving federal financial assistance. Um, when it comes to extracurricular activities, it states that schools are allowed to field single-sex teams in certain circumstances, but require that they provide equal athletic opportunities for both sexes. Now, this is completely contingent upon the amount of students in your school, based on the percentage of the sex of students. So in this case, 44% of the student body of the University of Illinois was female, and only 23% of those females were involved in any sort of intercollegiate athletics, which was kind of the backdrop that this decision to cut men's swimming was based on. There were a lot of different factors that went into the conversation on why to cut or what activities to cut. So when the decision was made, one of the major considerations was the general athletic budget, which was in a deficit of $600,000. Now, on top of that, the chancellor, Morton Weir, and the Board of Trustees met and decided which athletic offerings they were going to cut based on the following criteria. Um, number one, whether or not the Big Ten Conference and the NCAA sponsored a championship in that sport, the tradition of success in the sport, the level of interest and participation of the sport at the high school level, the adequacy of the university's facilities for that sport, the level of spectator interest, gender and ethnic issues, and the cost of the sport. Um, there were 4 sports that were recommended to be cut, and this was men's swimming, men's fencing, and men's and women's diving. The swimming program was selected for termination due to the lack of success of the program, as it was historically weak, and the fact that swimming is not a widely offered athletic activity in high schools, and it has a very low spectator following. Um, the university did decide not to terminate women's swimming, but only to terminate men's swimming, which was intended to balance out the Title IX responsibilities. If the university had terminated women's swimming, it would have been vulnerable to a Title IX suit, based on the fact that they weren't offering enough opportunities for their female athletes, or their female students. Um, the conversation by the plaintiffs turned not to the disproportion of female athletes to females enrolled, but to discrimination on the basis of sex, and they kind of got a little bit crazy with their allegations and said that if a university is required by Title IX to eliminate men from varsity athletic competition, then the same Title IX should require the university to eliminate women from the academic departments where they are overrepresented, and men from departments they have been overrepresented. Um, such such a result would be kind of ridiculous. Um, but since the policy interpretation clearly defined a reasonable approach to measuring compliance with Title IX, the court didn't have any authority to condemn it. The plaintiff and the men's swimming team and Kelly claimed that the University of Illinois did kind of violate Title IX when it terminated the men's swimming program. They did not agree with the decision that the university have made, because the decision to eliminate men's swimming programs while retaining the women's program denied them equal protection, and it didn't actually force the university to create any opportunities for female athletes. It just simply balanced out the statistic. So they were being kind of punished or hurt, just so that way they could meet a statistical requirement. So, I mean, I can see why they were a little bit upset there, but at the same time, the university has to make tough decisions. As I said, as an athletic director, you have to make these kind of tough decisions, or you might have to make these kinds of tough decisions. In my small school district, these are conversations we have every year. Whether or not we can field this program, just because either the numbers are low, maybe we only field varsity, or maybe we only field a JV program. There's a lot of different factors that go into this, and these decisions, in my case or in some other cases, are completely based on a financial aspect, or the amount of kids out, the safety of student athletes, all that kind of thing. It's never going to be a popular decision when you have to discuss the idea of taking an opportunity away from a student athlete. But when it comes down to it, sometimes there are ways that you can offer those things at a more minimal cost to your district. So in the end, the court ruled that there were no issues, and that the university had not done anything incorrectly. But at the end of the day, all of these decisions are things that you and other administrators in your school board, may be faced with. And I felt like this was kind of a cool case to read about, in that it gave a lot of different perspectives on it. And it gave a detailed list on why certain programs were cut. So thank you for your time, and I hope you got something out of this.